Barbara. She's based in London. And she's been in the real estate industry for over 14 years now, and originally from Zambia. So we just thought, obviously, Zim Properties is just not just for Zimbabweans, it's for many different individuals from different countries and races. So we just thought, why not today having one of our own from one of the African countries to come and share their experience and their journey. So I think the best way to run this today will be briefly introduce Barbara, and then she'll go through what she's got to tell us today, her presentation and everything. And then if anyone's got any questions, if you could please save them till later when she's finished with her presentation, and then we can go through them with the chart. Then once that's done, if there's no more questions for Barbara, she can just say her closing remarks, then pass it over back to Muzi if we've still got time. So yeah, over to you, Barbara. Thank you for joining us today and for your time. Looking forward to it.
Hello, hi once more. Thank you for having me. And I know it's been a few weeks that, we've been trying to get a date in, but, finally we're here. And lovely to meet everyone. I didn't know there was such a strong group out there, everyone seems to be supporting each other. I'm actually from Zimbabwe, but my family migrated to Zambia. So my dad is Shona, but we were born and grew up in Zambia, and we have Zambian passports, so we are fake Zambians. Yeah, so thank you everyone for joining today. I told Google that unfortunately I don't have slides to do some sort of presentation. I would rather make it very interactive. So feel free to ask any questions. I can answer those questions as we go along or after I finish telling you a bit about myself. So I live in London. I came to the UK in 2001. I came here to study. When I oh, sorry. Yeah, so initially my plan was to study financial economics. I did 1 year of that, but I thought this is not what I want to do. I'm not enjoying this. Let me work for a year. So I took time out from uni just for me to try and figure out really what I wanted to do. So I found a job in a property company, doing admin. I wasn't even very interested in property, to be honest. I just wanted to find a job and see what was out there. But I started enjoying myself. Doing property management is not very easy. Yeah, dealing with very difficult people all the time, and dealing with very difficult situations. But I quite enjoyed that. I enjoyed learning more about real estate, from a junior position. So from being an assistant property manager, I was promoted to property manager. So I started my journey working for a company in Tolworth in Surrey. Then I moved to a senior property manager's role to another company, another branch of the same company in Wimbledon. I did that for 2 years or somewhere there. Then I wanted to work in central London. I don't know why, but I thought, you know what? I want to work in central London. It's happening there. Whatever is happening there, I want to be there. So I applied for a property manager's role for a company which I wasn't even sure where it was based. The recruiter just sent me details of a position, and she told me that it was for a company based in Mayfair. I had no idea where Mayfair was, but I was like, I'll find it. It's in central London. I don't care where that is. So when I was going for my interview, I got to Bond Street Station, and I was trying to find where the place is. The office was very close to the former US Embassy. So I asked around and people directed me. I looked at this area and I was thinking to myself, how come I've never heard of this area? Because everything looked so different. The people around there was this certain swag to the place. And, I walked around and someone told me that, the big building in front was the US Embassy. And it just looked like a whole different country to what have been seeing, all my life being in the UK. But I went for my interview anyway. I got to this company. There was no any other Black person in that company. I did my interview. I was very sure I wasn't getting that job because I was like, there's no way they'll employ a Black person. I haven't seen any white person, any other Black person in this place, all white people. But to my surprise, I was offered the role. So I started managing properties in Mayfair, Knightsbridge, Belgravia, Chelsea, and it just opened me up to a whole different life that I never thought existed. Like, you see these properties, you see the people that are renting them, you see the people that own the properties. Most of the times with the property owners, I actually never saw them. I always spoke with them or emailed them. So, which was very different to my previous role in Wimbledon, because most of the properties in Surrey, although they are of high value, the landlords tend to be based in the UK. So it was such a fantastic role that made me very determined. I was really happy to be in this place, but I was also very surprised that I didn't see many Black people around, just in the whole prime property space around Mayfair. Up to today, I can tell you that there's still very, very few Black people that work in the luxury property space. So I worked for that company for about 6 years, managing properties. They didn't actually give me anyone to assist me with looking after hundreds of properties. So it was a very stressful role, but I still enjoyed it. I developed relationships with property owners, lots of them from the former Soviet states, Russia to be precise, from the Middle East. Even the tenants, I established good relationships, because one thing I quickly learned was that if someone can rent a property for $6,000 a week, they're mostly equally high net worth themselves. So, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no plans of setting up on my own or anything like that. But, my husband kept encouraging me. Oh, people really like you. You should look to do something for yourself. You don't need to work for them. I was like, no, I'm used to working, getting my paycheck, getting all these awards from work, getting these recommendations from clients that are happy with my services. I can't do this on my own. I can't. And what am I going to do? I've always been a property manager all my life. But then I was pregnant with my first child, and I had a chat with my boss just to understand, the maternity pay and things like that. So, after my boss told me how much I would get paid, in a sense, I was like, there's just no way anyone can survive on this, this little money, So I decided at that point, I was like, you know what, I'm going to take the leap of faith, and I'm going to set up my own company. That's how I left, having worked for my employers for 6 years. They were very, 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 very well-known Jewish family, very well established, and very good reputation, but I left and set up my company. And to my surprise, a lot of my clients that I had been working with through that company, they were very devastated that I was leaving because, if you've ever managed properties, any property, even with high net worth or with just normal price bracket, it's a very, very stressful role. It's very demanding and it's very draining as well. So you can understand when, a property owner finally deals with someone who's very reactive, same as the tenants. So when I left, lots of people complained, and some of the clients found my number and contacted me and said, "What are you doing, Barbara? Where have you moved to?" And when I told them that I had set up my own company, I had clients that were moving their properties to me. And from there, they started introducing me to other clients who are looking to buy properties. So for me, that was a new sort of role that I had never experienced. I had never done any property search for clients. I always managed properties, but I was like, I'll learn on the job. There can't be anything impossible with finding a property for someone. So I was able to sort of ask some of the colleagues around, that I knew were in estate agency, exactly what that involved. And, some of them were very kind enough. But at the same time, it was also a very scary time. I don't know how many of you are sort of experienced with working with luxury properties. You will see a place like Mayfair. It's predominantly older white men that are running the show around there. So it was very scary because I didn't have the properties that clients wanted to buy. I had the client who wants to buy a property. And I found it a bit challenging when I started with the property search side. When I contacted an estate agent, for example, the Knight Franks or Weatherby, and say, "Oh, I've seen a property on your website. I have a client that wants to view the property." They were a bit reluctant because, first of all, they don't expect you to have the client that can buy that property. And second of all, it's the obvious thing. They think, who is this Black girl that is talking about a client wanting to buy a £10 million house? But anyway, I was able to demonstrate that, I wasn't wasting their time. I had the clients and the clients were actually transacting. And then people started paying attention to me a bit more in the industry, in the area. They were wondering, who are your clients? How are you getting your clients? And who is this Barbara? Where did she come from? I've always been there. I've always been in the same area, but I was always in the background doing my property management. But now I had this role that was putting me in front, customer facing, and also, interacting with other people in the industry. So when I set up Eton Properties in 2011, I wasn't sure if it was going to last. I wasn't, it's a new thing. It was a new thing to me. It was a very scary time, but I kept going. I kept getting new clients, and for the longest time, I think until about 2018, all my clients were referred to me. I never advertised for new clients. Everyone was referred to me either by another client, a tenant that I've managed in the past, or is a tenant, or lawyers, accountants, I found that, I had to understand the business very quickly. In luxury property, anyone can refer a client to you, anybody. So you don't want to underestimate anyone. I mean, literally anyone. I've had someone introduce me to a client that is a porter. So a porter of a building. Why? Because I'm always nice to this guy. I'm always saying good morning, Merry Christmas, or whatever else I have to say. And, they start asking you, what do you do? And you tell them. And, the very minute they have someone who's looking for your services, they are going to contact you first. So I've had referrals from different sources. And here I am today. This is 2021. The last 2 years have been very challenging for the property industry. I'm sure, in almost every sector, it's been very, very challenging. But the good thing is that I've been able to not put my eggs in one basket, just doing property management or property search or, property sales. Or, I find that I'm offering more of a concierge service where high net worth clients can ask you for anything at any time. They can ask for, I've had clients who are asking me, Barbara, we want to move from Switzerland to London and we're looking for good schools. Do you know any places that we can put our children? We want to be living in this area. Can you help us find a school? So at that point, you have to build your network of different contacts. I mean, different contacts from private schools, shopping experience in Harrods. I have a contact there if you have clients who spend, a lot of money, minimum, say, £20,000 a week. They have special membership for them. I have contacts in private hospitals, insurance companies, private chefs, name it. I know everyone in even private members clubs. I've had to actually get to know people in those areas, because once a client trusts you, they trust you for anything and for everything. And then when the first lockdown hit, it was a very worrying time for my business. I'm sure for many people's businesses and livelihood. It was at that point that I started thinking, I need to think outside the box. I have very good contacts of clients, from Russia, from the Middle East. I work a lot with the Qatari embassy, for example. I've got very good contacts. I don't have African clients. I want to tap into the African market. I know there's so much money coming from Africa. What can I do in that space? I started thinking. So last year, towards the end of last year, I set up like a fund. It's a fund because we're actually going to pull in money from investors. And our main focus is tapping into African high net worth investors that are looking for alternative investment in serviced accommodation. So, again, this is sort of branching out of my comfort zone. I've never done fundraising before. I know that serviced apartments is a very good business model. I believe there's some people on the platform that are doing serviced apartments as well. But for me, I know it from experience on the luxury side, because like I mentioned, I work with the Middle East market a lot. And some of the searches that come my way are people who are looking for short stay accommodation. Maybe they're here for medical treatment, or they're here for whatever other reasons, and they want to stay in, in an apartment rather than stay in a hotel. because typically Middle Eastern clients tend to travel with many people. So they have maybe 3 nannies with their children. So a hotel would be very, very expensive. So the price that they have to pay, I did do extensive research to see, because every time I have to book for them, I look at how much they're paying. Sometimes they're paying 20,000 for a month's stay in London, maybe more. I just knew that there's something in this space that needs to be tapped into, and that's why I set up an investment fund called Weatherby Real Estate. Now, fundraising for Weatherby Real Estate, it was very, very challenging. It's been very challenging because, again, you're learning on the job. You're trying to understand the model. You're trying to tweak it. What will investors want to see that you haven't included in your fundraising memo? So that's when it came up to looking at bringing in other partners. So I quickly learned, look, if you're going to succeed, you can't succeed on your own. You have to bring in people who bring different skills to the table. So I partnered with Augustina because I wanted to tap into the African market. Augustina is based in Nigeria. She has a background in wealth management, and she has exposure with high net worth African clients. So, she has that connection with clients on the ground, and she's also based in one of the markets that we'll be looking to tap into. Then we also brought in Dr. Navid. Dr. Navid is based in Dubai. He has a wealth management company. He has a background in private banking. He's worked with some very big banks. His last job was, he was managing director at Julius Baer. And we also have Farid. Farid was Dr. Navid's assistant at Julius Baer as well. And we also brought in Naeem and Adil. Naeem also has an extensive background in private banking. He has exposure with Pakistani clients. He has worked as a vice president of JP Morgan. And Naeem has a company, a real estate investment company in Dubai. And the reason why I'm bringing this as well is just to tell you that, being African myself, we tend to have this mentality of, I want it all to myself. I want to be successful by myself. I want to do this and just make all the money myself. But sometimes we actually neglect to think of how much we need other people to make whatever it is we are doing to work for us. And other people might bring different skills to the table. They might bring different experience, different exposure. They might bring that added advantage. And I can tell you, ever since I onboarded these guys, these ex-private bankers, we've had so much interest in our investment model. We've had, initially people were like, oh, yes, you have experience in real estate, but you've never done anything like this. What if our money, what if you disappear with our money, which is the real question everyone wants to know. Where are we going to find you? But when you bring people like these ex-bankers, they have wealth management license for their businesses. They have more to lose if anything happened, because they are registered with the financial services of Dubai. So it gives you that extra advantage. Tomorrow we have a very positive meeting with a group of Pakistani investors on one of the projects we're working on. And we've also been able to speak to some African investors that are very keen on a property that we have seen that we want to buy in Kensington. And So we're just going from there, feeding off each other's energy. So I have Weatherby Real Estate, which is the fund, and I have Eton Properties, which is my property management and services company in Mayfair. So from both businesses, I am sure that you can get referrals. So if there are clients who can invest in your fund, because the properties we're looking at, 8, 10, 20 million pound price bracket, that person is likely going to want services on Eton side. So, it kind of balances and works well for us. And also trying to also engage with my clients on Eton that already have properties that I actually manage. So by the way, I manage a portfolio for different clients of properties worth about 250 million pounds all across Mayfair, Knightsbridge, Marylebone. And some of these clients, they've only seen their properties once, and they trust me to do everything for them and communicate whatever problems and make decisions on their behalf. So in a nutshell, that's a little bit about myself. I'm sure you might have some questions for me, so go for it.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Barbara. It's been very insightful, all that you've shared. And obviously, I know I'm already a connection with you, but for the sake of other people, I've got a couple of questions myself. And then if anyone else has got any questions, they can ask, either putting them in the chat or just raising your hand, then we'll just make it in that order. So to start with, this is before you started owning your own property company. You mentioned that you were the only Black person when you got employed in Mayfair in London. So it would be good to understand, how did you navigate and transition into your new role, having to see that you're the only Black person? So with everyone, your colleagues and everything, how did you overcome all that and manage to stay on top?
Okay. That's a very good question, because it is still happening up to now. It's still a very unfortunate situation. I am very vocal with companies, because I work closely with almost all the estate agents in Mayfair. By the way, I actually I instruct them on my clients' properties so that they can find tenants. So I have, they have to like me whether they like it or not, because if not, I'm not instructing them on my properties. So you see, the thing is, it's been very surprising for me that even up to now, I don't see that many Black people. I don't know why. And I always tell, I get a lot of people like go on my Instagram, write to me, or I want to get into real estate. I want to get into how did you start? I think one of the challenges that I see some people might face is that sometimes when we see, for example, when, I started telling you my story because I wanted you to see that I started from somewhere. I didn't start with my own business. I started working for a company. I know there are a lot of young Black people who are very ambitious, and I love that. I love that about my race. We are very ambitious people. We want to do so well. But sometimes I see that most people don't want to start from somewhere. They want to first start and own their own company. There's a lot to learn. Over the last 10 years, owning my own business, there's been so many things that have happened that, the in-between that I might not have told you. Learning on the job sometimes is not that straightforward. It's not easy. Sometimes I see people, when you tell them, oh, you should look at a, assistant role or a junior role, they don't like that because they want to go straight and become the boss. It doesn't work like that. It's the same thing with the white people that have been working there for 40 years. The main reason why they're still working there is that they started from somewhere and they grew to be what they are. If you can research, there's a guy called Peter Weatherby. He owns a company called Weatherby Estate. He's one of the long-standing estate agents in Mayfair, a white guy, and he's been there for many years. He started, when you read his story, you see how he started, but he started from somewhere. So as long as we are not willing to start from somewhere, as long as we want to come in and maybe become like Barbara, yeah, if you can come in and become like Barbara straight away, start, but like I said, you need connections, you need a network of people, then there will always be a problem. You will never think you want to work in that sector. But there are people who started from junior roles and they're making such good money now because they've gone up the ladder. But I still think that companies can do a bit more to bring in the Black community. But for the Black people that I've chatted with, many are not very keen on starting at junior roles. So it's still a very big challenge because I only see, apart from myself and Ramsey in Mayfair, I don't know any other Black person. I hope that answers your question.
No, it does. Thank you very much, Deb. The other question that I have is, so for anyone new or just even not new in the property industry or just any business in general, obviously your focus is like high-end net worth clients. What's your advice and strategy for obviously networking with this type of clients? Obviously not from a referral perspective, because I know when you started your own business, you had so many referrals, but what strategy do you use to connect with new clients that are high-end?
Okay. To be honest, with high-end clients, there isn't a right and wrong way of connecting with them because, these people are found in specific spaces. So if I'm looking for clients, my target or people that would most likely be my clients, where can I find them? I'll probably find them in Monaco, isn't it? Or I have to go to, to Switzerland or somewhere there. But you have to be in the right places at the right time. I always tell, for example, I always tell my husband when he's like, oh, I'm trying to crack into this, I say, you won't crack into it from your computer. It's not going to happen. No matter what you do, researching until kingdom come, you're not going to find a new client from the computer. Be out there. Go to, register with Members Club. Go to nice hotel. Like me, most of my meetings, I have them in hotels. I like to go to the Claridge's. I like to go to the Connaught Hotel. Not to go and eat, really. I can have a coffee, but I like to sit there because most likely people that are staying there are my target clients. And people want to see you in those spaces. They really do. And also, I encourage people, I encourage people to, dress appropriately. Present yourself. I know people say, oh, this is the way I dress. I don't care. This is how I like to look. I'm going to go out there with, my pink blue hair. Yeah, fantastic. But, if you're trying to attract a certain group, yeah, it's true that people either like you for the way you are or you're not. But I can tell you, like, if you're looking for this type of clients, it's more like even doing a role play. They want to see that you, not that you have to be dripping in Chanel and whatever. No, but I'm just saying you have to look presentable, dress appropriately, be flexible, and also, you know, and also try by all means to you know, to speak to people when you go out in these places. Don't just you can start with, like me. I'm very good at you know, the person sitting next to me. I'll talk about the weather. That's all we all seem to talk about, how horrible the weather is. And before you know it, oh, are you here visiting London? You know, they'll tell you, yeah, I'm here for. We are actually moving to London. We're looking to buy a house. You see, he's just told me he's looking to buy a house. I'm an estate agent. There we go. So, oh, actually, I'm in real estate. I have a company based in Mayfair. What sort of areas are you looking? That's a conversation. I give the person my card. So you have to intentionally look for these people. You have to interact with lawyers. You have to interact with accountants, especially lawyers. They're very good at having the right sort of clients. So everything about finding your target market has to be intentional, but you won't find them sitting on your computer, looking at your computer the whole day. You won't. I've tried it. I tried it during COVID. I was trying to see that, you know, oh, it's very quiet now. No one is traveling. How can I get new clients? But it doesn't work. You have to be out there networking. So at least one network event a week would do you good, and go to the right places as well.
Okay, thank you. So would you write off coffee shops and just stick to hotels then?
No, I wouldn't. There are some nice coffee shops. You know what? You know, with social media now, there's so many places that you see. Like sometimes I intentionally browse on social media to see where are people going, what places are trendy. You know, there's this, is it Ellen Cafe? These seem to be the go-to places, you know, especially for Middle Eastern people. They love this place. You know, the cafe with the flowers, what do they call it? Elan. Yeah, that place. Lots of people, even rich people, go there. Why? They're going there because they want to take selfies and whatever. And if you're someone who likes playing golf, there are a lot of polo events that take place. Just go out there. Honestly, go out there. And you never know. And have your cards with you all times. Just have your business cards. You just never know where you meet a client. Yeah, so yeah, that person knows Elan Soho. Yeah, there are quite a few of them around in London. So yeah, sometimes I just say, oh, this week I've been to this hotel a lot. Next week I'm going to Claridge's. That's where I'm having all my meetings. And yeah, and people like rich people, especially. They like to know that you know where they like. They love that.
Nah, that's amazing. Now, thank you for that. That's an amazing tip, definitely. And then my last question, without taking too much of your time, I'm sure other people have got questions as well.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you've got your other funds company. So how do you reassure, considering their international clients as well? How do you reassure them of the security of their funds? And do you provide any security? So what sort of statements do you go along with to say, obviously, if you're gonna invest with me, how secure is your money? I don't know if you understand my question.
Yeah. No, I do. Yeah. So regarding the fund, we looked at it many different ways. How can you secure an investor's money? You know, first of all, it's not a regulated fund. It's called a fund because we are pulling in money. So what am I going to tell this investor? So we came up with two options. We are partnered with a wealth management company that is FSA regulated here in the United Kingdom. So they would stand as a custodian. So the investor is not transferring the money to Weatherby real estate. They're going to open a custodian account with the wealth management company, And it's once they've done the due diligence on the fund and they're happy, then the money gets transferred to Weatherby. So they have like a shareholders agreement and everything like that. Then the second aspect to that is that we offered an escrow account. Again, we partnered with a very well-known African bank, which is Standard Bank or StanChart. Very familiar with most people, investors. They're happy to provide us an escrow account arrangement. So the investor doesn't send the money to Weatherby Real Estate initially. They have an escrow account set up with Standard Bank. After they complete the due diligence, if they're happy with what they see, then the money can be transferred to Weatherby. So they have that security, knowing that there is a connection between our company, Weatherby, and a very well-known bank. So that gives them extra security. But otherwise, furthermore to that, you can't really reassure an investor any more than that, because at the end of the day, we've seen what COVID has done. No matter how much reassure investor, it's not in your hands. It can go either way. So that's what we've done for our investment fund.
Okay, now that's great. Thank you. And that's all the questions from me. Then I've seen in the chat, Moses got a question. Moses, do you mind just saying out your question, please? It's a bit too long, so I think my voice will finish.
No worries, no worries. Firstly, Barbara, that was amazing. That's such a really powerful story, listening to your journey. So thank you so much for sharing that. My question was in regard to your strategy itself, as a property strategy. It seems to be orientated around the quality, the high end. Obviously, it is luxury real estate, and your location itself plays a huge part and sits well with that. Now, if you're going to be giving advice to someone who's looking to do what you're doing, but they don't live in those areas, is it something that you think would still work in a different location? And if so, what would you suggest?
I think the first thing I always tell people is try to find your niche. Try and find it. Like for me, I have told myself that everything I want to do around real estate will be around high net worth clients, because not only have I worked with them, I understand I've worked with them, I understand them to a certain extent, and this is the area I want to stick with. I don't want to jump. Today I'm doing properties worth $500,000. Tomorrow I'm doing properties worth 100,000. Because consistency is very important in whatever you do. But I'm saying that it's not impossible for anyone to do anything in the world of internet now. Mm-hmm. We have anything can be done online. Anything can be done online to a certain extent. But if you're going to set up a company, say you're based in Manchester, trying to target people in London, at a certain point, you'll be expected to come to these areas. Yeah. You'll be expected to be in these areas, because as you're talking to clients, when they ask you, I want to buy a flat on Mount Street, for example, you better know where Mount Street is in Mayfair. Where is Mount Street? So you have to familiarize yourself with those locations you're looking to tap into. Otherwise, it can go against you, because sometimes it's only a matter of question. They'll ask you about what's the name? Oh, that coffee shop on that corner on South Audley Street. What is it called? You have to kind of know. You have to know the areas, you have to know what is in that area, well, you know, what sort of things are found in that area, but it's not impossible, but it will make you, it will make your work really hard based somewhere else. For example, if you're in Manchester, maybe why don't you tap into the high net worth market in Cheshire? I hear Cheshire is a very good market. Get in with the footballers. And again, how do you get in with the footballers? Networking. You know, are you going to the places where you can find the footballers? I'm telling you, it only takes one contact that can change your life. I've seen this in luxury real estate space. Even up to now, like people ask me, so how do you get all these clients? Like they don't understand because they think there's somewhere where I advertise. No, there isn't. There isn't. It just takes being at one place at the right time that you might find this place, this type of people. But how do you find this type of people? Only if you go out there and find out where they're based. Don't just sit on your computer the whole day. I'll say it again. I hope that answers your question.
It really does. It really does. And I'm just going to take an opportunity to throw in a second one before we move on to Tawa's question. You've mentioned a couple of times about the fact that you can't just wait for things to happen and just base it on finding things online. So go out there and do some networking. Now, for some of us in the property world who are not necessarily doing the same strategy as you, how would you advise we utilize networks to the best of our ability? Now, whether we're looking for funds or we're looking for particular deals, how would you recommend people go out and network physically rather than just kind of depend on the internet, like you said?
I think platforms such as the one that you have, they play a very important role. And also, it's about time we learn how to support each other properly. As in, I have had people say who are in insurance, who are in the insurance industry, nothing to do with what I do. Okay, they're in the insurance industry, but because they know that I do this sort of business, anytime they hear about property, they're going to contact me and say, oh, Barbara, I was talking to a client today and they said they're looking to buy something. Can you help? I think, again, not to say bad things about my race, but, I have tried to network with some other people who are in different sectors that are connected to real estate in a way, whether they're bankers or whatever. And sometimes the reception is not very positive. They're very what do you want kind of thing. I think platforms like the ones that you have are very important in that you can try and look out for each other. When there is an opportunity that I know that, you, Muzi, might be interested in, or Google might be interested in, I need to tell you about it. At the end of the day, if you win, I win. Maybe there'll be a deal sharing, there'll be a fee split, or there'll be, look beyond trying to just get it as my deal. Like, oh, I'm the one who got this deal. I'm the one who make all the money. Look at it as, you know what? Little money is better than no money. And most of us, what we've been doing the last few years is we've been not making money. Why? Because we're looking for opportunities just for me. Look out for each other. And, if there is a deal, now I know what you guys do. And sometimes I actually get offered properties in rent to rent, but because I don't do it, so I don't know where to send it. But now I know that there's this platform. If there was any opportunity like that, I'll offer it to you, because if you win, I win, So that's what I would say.
Absolutely. I think that is some really, really useful advice there. Thank you so much for sharing it. Definitely. Any rent opportunities, feel free to throw them our way. We would really appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll probably come and learn more about it because I don't understand. I've been hearing it quite a lot. It seems like a very good business model.
Mm.
Yeah.
I would be happy to share information on that. No problem whatsoever. I'll let Tabo ask his next question. Tabo, if you're on.
Think I can hear the baby crying in the other room, so I just ask it on his behalf. So Tawa is asking, with the money from your funds, what do you do with it? Obviously, we're not talking 20,000, we're talking millions with your funds. So he's asking, what do you do with those funds?
I go to Harrods and buy a few handbags. No. So basically, as I mentioned earlier, that with that money, we are looking to buy buildings. We're actually looking to buy buildings rather than buy a single flat. The reason why we are focusing on buildings is because it's easier for us to be able to obtain a license for short stay accommodation. And in London, the councils here, the authorities here, they're not very nice when it comes to giving license. So it's easier when you actually control a whole building than if you had one apartment in a building, because the likelihood of the head list giving you permission to do that is very, very low. You know, they will say no for sure, because your neighbor next door might be wondering, what is this person doing every day? This flat has different people coming in and going. And as we know, this country, the people to get you in trouble are your neighbors most of the times. So you know, you want to have control of a whole building. So when the investors give us the money, we are leveraging on that, getting a whole building, something that needs a bit of work or needs a lot of work, refurbishing it, and you know, renting and paying the investor coupons from the rental income. The fund is to run for 5 years. And after 5 years, our exit strategy is to either sell the asset, depending on whether all the investors or majority of the investors want to exit, or we buy off the investors that want to exit and we keep the asset and carry on or roll it over. So that's the model that we have.
Okay, now thank you for that. Has anyone else got any more questions for Barbara? If not, I've got another question. So, with your own company now, do you own any, or is it just purely managing them?
Do I own any?
Yeah, I was asking, do you own any, or is it you purely managing the properties?
Okay, I thought someone else wanted to ask something. So for Eton Properties, no, I don't own anything. These properties in the portfolio, you know, an individual property maybe is worth £10 million. So definitely not on any yet. But I manage on behalf of different owners, different families, and yeah, it's really nice to look after other people's very trusted possession, like a house or an apartment of that value. So hopefully I'll manage my own property soon. Yeah.
Nice one, thank you. And then I think we've got a question from Tavo and then a question from Salome. Tavo is like, do you have 50K to lend from the fund? He's looking for 50K to buy his next purchase, or is it something?
If you don't ask, you don't get, isn't it?
With interest, of course. So yeah, you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, no, we don't, because we're also looking for money. But one thing I can say to you is, you need to package your opportunity. There are people out there that are looking for opportunities that they don't have to do themselves. I'm telling you that. And they have so much money, and they're looking for, like us here, we have so much energy, we know what we are doing, and we can get return on investments for these people. There are people who are looking for people like us, but we need to package ourselves really well, really well. So if you want, I can share with you the sort of the 2-pager that we send out to clients, so that you can see what we've done. And yeah, if you're looking, whatever you're looking for, another thing I was going to say, really put it together properly. You have a one chance shot with most of these clients, once they're not sold the first time round, they won't be sold the second time round. So whatever it is, if you have a good investment that oh my God, an investor needs to see this, package it well. Branding, spend some money. And this is one thing we don't do. Again, I know my race, we don't like to spend money. We want to make money and spend it on ourselves. Yeah, so try and package your investment, your opportunity. There are people, I'm telling you, if it's not high net worth people, there are professionals who are doing 9 to 5, working so hard, they don't have time to start looking for properties. And they're just looking for someone who can say to them, I'll give you 10,000 and you give me back 15,000 after 2 years or whatever that is. So, yeah.
Okay, now thank you. I think you've got some requests. If you could please send the 2 pages. If you can send it to me once you've got a minute, then I'll share with the rest of the group, please. That would be great. And
Okay.
on that question, so if you put the 50K into this package using similar model, can we send it to you to send to your high net worth clients just for a little 50K?
For a little 50, I think for those type of clients, that investment might be very small, because bear in mind, like I told you, most of these people, they own just a single asset of 10 million pounds. So 50K is shopping money for them for lunch. So yeah, but you know what? They're professionals. I'm telling you, like, I know so many people who work, doctors, even bankers, that don't have time. They're the ones that can easily give you 50K. Easily, they can give you 50K as long as whatever it is you're presenting, you've sold, you can sell it to them. And like I said earlier, if you can get people on board, even like a non-executive director who has experience in XYZ, that will make your presentation look appealing to them, please get them. And that's what we did. Initially I was thinking, oh, I have to split my shares now because I'm getting all these people. But I looked at the bigger picture. If we were able to invest, if we were able to raise 10 million pounds, and maybe I was getting 200,000, I'm better off than getting 0. So try and look at who is on your page. Is it just Tabo on the page, or is it Tabo and someone, a builder who has experience, or is it Tabo, a builder and a banker who can actually say, I'll be the one who will get the financing for the leveraging on this project. Tabo, I'm the property expert with 15 years doing this sort of project. The builder can say, I have experience in building or refurbishing such projects. That's what you need, and that's what people want to see. They don't just want to see a one-man band.
No, that's great. Thank you very much. Salome, are you around to ask a question?
Hi, Barbara. I just wanted to ask if you have any people you mentor.
Well, I have little girl. Well, they're not little. Like 15-year-olds that are, come to me and I talk to them about what they want to do in real estate. But I'm always very open. I'm sure Google, if someone wants to talk to me about what they want to do, I'm happy to give you very raw advice. I'm not someone that says, yeah, it's going to be fine. You have to work hard. I'm sure everyone works hard. But if you want to do something and succeed in it, you have to put in the extra effort. It's not just mentoring and then, I like to follow through and make sure that you're actually doing what we discuss. So I'm happy to mentor or to talk to anyone that wants any advice in luxury real estate or in anything else.
That's great. Thank you, Barbara. So someone had initially asked for your contact details. So Tabo kindly shared a link for Instagram. But I guess for those that are not on Instagram, obviously I know your Instagram's got like different links for different ways to contact with you. Are you okay with me to share them in the group for anyone who wants to get in touch with you?
Yes, absolutely. If you want, you can give them my website as well and my mobile number. Happy to speak to anyone that wants to reach out. And if you're in London, if you're based in London, happy to meet for a coffee. There is someone.
Hotel, yeah.
Yeah.
Mugo has got a question. Mugo, do you want to ask your question?
And is it a Daisy as well?
Hi, Barbara.
Hello.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. Unfortunately, I joined a bit later, so I might have missed this bit. My question was, so what's your plans like for the future in luxury real estate? Where do you see the industry going, and what's your plans on scaling up and growing your business?
Well, do you mean? Oh, you mean my business? Okay, yeah.
Business, yeah.
Okay, so I'm not sure if you heard me talk about the fund that I'm working on.
Yeah, I briefly heard that, yes.
Okay. So basically, you know what? It's been very competitive the last few years. There are so many people that are starting real estate that are what we call runners, like runners that will take a lower fee just to get the instruction, but they don't seem to stay around for too long. But at the same time, I believe there's so much opportunity still there. There's still oil in the well. We just need to be creative. This is where creativity needs to come in. I need to network more. The same advice I gave everyone. I also need to travel. I'm actually in the new year, touch wood, I'm looking to travel to a few places where my clients are based, like in the Middle East. If you know Middle Eastern clients, you understand that, for them to work with you, you really need to, it's like digging. You're digging until you get to where the sweet potato is in the ground. Bit by bit, you have to be very gentle. Don't go aggressive because, they get put off. So I'm thinking they're always coming to London. Why don't I actually make a trip, go to Qatar and meet with some of my clients? I'm also looking to go to Ghana. And again, I have a client based in Ghana that has invited me to go and hopefully to introduce me to investors that are looking to invest in the fund. So I think there's still a lot of oil in the well. Yes, there's still a lot of English white men in the industry that are still taking over, but there's still a lot of clients, new money coming, new money from Africa, new money from the Middle East, because the families are now putting the youngsters in charge, and they are looking for a bit more charisma than the old estate agents that are still in the market. So we just have to be creative, and yeah, I believe that's the only way I can succeed in my ventures and my 2 businesses. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Sorry, thank you, Barbara. Then we've got, I think, Ades. Sorry if I've pronounced your name wrong. I think that will probably be the last question. If anyone has got any more questions, just feel free to put them in the WhatsApp group, then I can forward them on to Barbara. Or if you've got her details, you can contact her directly and get them answered. So over to you, Ades.
Thank you, and thanks for putting this on. It's been so inspiring. Barbara, I don't even have a question. I first of all just want to say thank you for shining, because it's amazing to see a woman of color just killing it. I love that. And I wanted to also just raise my head above the parapet and make sure you remember my name, because I've messaged you on Insta, and I do want to take up the offer of meeting you in London. So when you see my message, know that it's me. And I mean, I'll come up to London whenever you're ready. Like, let's do it next week. Let's do it.
Oh, why not? Why not? Let's do it.
Shoot your shot, sister.
Shoot that shot.
Honestly, you know, thank you so much for that fantastic comment. And you know, like I said to you, there's lots of opportunities. You know, there can be a lot of us doing what I'm doing, and there should be a lot of us doing what I'm doing. But sometimes, you know, there isn't anyone that can guide you through and can tell you, you know, I'm happy to share my journey with someone on a very personal level, so that, you know, you don't go through some of the mistakes I made, and also that you can be well equipped for this industry, because sometimes it's very, you know, you can feel like there is no support, which I do feel sometimes. And yeah, so let's try and support each other, you know, not only as women, but as a community. I love this group. You know, I didn't know there was this group out there, and there's so many members there. You know, try and support each other the best way you can, and that's the only way to get business done these days. Don't just do it by yourself. I think there's Shirley. Is it Shirley?
Oh, hi. I just wanted to say, I came in late though, but then I just wanted to say, same as Adeze, that I've actually followed you on Instagram, and I'm looking forward to listening to the whole audio, because I missed out on a few stuff. But what I heard was super great, I think. I liked what I heard, so I wanted to hear more as well. That's all I just wanted to say.
Oh, thank you very much.
No worries.
Yeah, I know I said one more question, but someone just sent me a message directly. So I'll just quickly ask them. We've got like a cheeky less than 15 minutes left anyway. So just for the benefit of anyone else.
Okay.
So it's 2 questions, but I'm sure you can quickly summarize them anyway.
Okay.
The questions are from Ben. So the first question is, so obviously this is personal to each individual depending on what they're trying to achieve in the business. So his question is, what sort of margins would one be looking for to manage a luxury property?
When you say margins, do you mean what sort of fees do you get?
Yeah, basically.
Ben, would you like to expand on that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think what I wanted to know is, you know, you get a property. What are you looking? What sort of, you know, margins are you looking to get back from managing that property?
Okay. Ben Bandai from Zambia, by the way.
Born in Zambia, yeah, but from Malawi via Zimbabwe.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You're my brother.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's
Very good.
Yeah. So, all right. So the fees, you know, for me, the fees really make sense. So for the rental, I charge 11%, and the management I charge 6% on the annual income, rental income plus VAT. That's what I charge. Now imagine, like I say to you, the properties are renting 6,000 a week, 4,000 a week. So the fee is quite high. And, I enjoy doing this because, sometimes you have to make your fee last long, because you don't get this property or people buying £10 million house every day. So you have to make your fee last, but it's a very good fee when you get it, very, very good fee, even on the acquisition side. So I charge about 1.5% on the acquisition plus VAT to the purchaser.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Ben, do you want to ask your second question, Matt, as well?
Yeah, my second question really is, my background is more private jet management for ultra high net worth individuals. So that's why I'm asking this question, because I wanted to know, on a private jet side, we've got upfront costs that we have to pay to manage the plane before the owner pays all the fees and the management fee. Is it the same within the luxury property? Are you having to pay for the running costs of the property before you send the expenses to the client and the management fee?
Okay. So if I receive, say, 100,000 in rentals, what I do is I have to pay all the expenses, deduct my fee. My fee is also part of that expense before I send to the owner. To be honest with you, the yields for someone who owns a property in prime central London is very low, but it's the appreciation of the asset. That's where most of them are more interested. And, I call it, they pack their money in London. They don't care about the rent. The rent is nothing to them. So, yeah, so how we do it is we deduct the fees from the rental income received, including any expenses, then send the balance to the client. I hope that makes sense. No?
Yeah, it does. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, but then if you're in luxury aviation, I should connect with you. You have my clients, I'm sure.
And I think you have mine too.
Yeah.
No, nice one. And I love. Oh, thank you so much. I think that's all the questions from everyone. If anyone's still got any more questions, obviously, Barbara's Insta handle has been shared on here. If not, I'll just send them over in the group, or if you're not in the group, just other ways you'll get them eventually if you really want to connect with Barbara. So thank you so much for your time today, Barbara. Really appreciate it, and it's been like valuable insight that you've obviously shared with us. So yeah, thank you everyone who's attended today, and over to you, Muzi.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Coco. And again, just like Coco's just mentioned, Barbara, really appreciate your time. Really appreciate you sharing your story, and it's just been great. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people that are listening now do agree with that. So really appreciate your time and your knowledge, and I'm pretty sure you'll hear quite a lot from us following up, getting to learn a bit more about what you do. So thank you ever so much, Barbara.
Oh, thank you so much, guys, for having me. And I can't emphasize enough that groups such as the one that you've set up are very important, because this is where we can do business, we can share knowledge, we can help each other, we can encourage each other. So well done to you guys for setting it up, and please do invite me again. I want to see what everyone else is doing.
Absolutely. We will definitely be inviting you. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will want to hear you speak again, and also get closer to your journey as well. So we'll definitely be in touch. Thank you so much. And thank you to the guys that have managed to join today as well on this current Zoom, and all the guys that are going to be watching on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for that. I have just dropped a link. If you're joining us for the very first time, we are the Zim Property Investors. And Kuku mentioned at the start that it's not necessarily just for Zimbabweans. It's just happens to be the guys that started it were Zimbabwean as well. So we use that as an identity. But anyone and everyone is invited. So we just essentially share information about our property journeys, get amazing people like Barbara to come and share their journeys as well, and we can learn from it as a community. So if you are not part of the group at the moment, I've shared a link to our Facebook community group. Please feel free to join. We've got a WhatsApp group as well, and we share knowledge in there as well. That would be great if we can get as many of you guys as possible to come in. And again, it would be really good to get to see you and get to meet up with you guys in person as well. So yeah, Barbara, we'll definitely be organizing to come and have that 50 grand coffee. Look forward to that. So at this point,
it's not 50 grand.
That's all right. That's all right. So at this point, I'm just going to invite everyone to just unmute and say bye to each other, and wish you guys a lovely Sunday evening and a very productive week. Thanks, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you very